with some great news. Great news, folks. I don't know if you're ready for great news, but this is great news because if you guys remember, there was this guy Scandalakis who took over the case from Fannie Willis. It got reassigned. Nobody else would take the case. There was this big hubbub, and a lot of people thought, oh my gosh, here, I'll turn on the light. I'm so dark there. I had it on, I thought. Anyways, this guy, Scandalakis, he was basically saying that, or people thought, well, this guy could just bring the case against the other people, even if he doesn't bring it against Trump. Folks, you have no need to worry about that anymore. This has officially ended everything with the Fani Willis RICO case, dealing with Sidney Powell, Jenna Ellis. We're going to get into the details here, but folks, this is big news. Don't kid yourself. So do me a favor, smash that like, chat in with where you're from, share it out. Let's celebrate. This is a party, folks. And I want to remind you guys of something too. Fani Willis, as bad as she is, do you know what percentage she won the vote of Fulton County with? According to official documents. Anybody want to take a guess as what she is purported to have won Fulton County, Georgia with? What percentage of the vote in 2024, even after we learned everything about her hiring Nathan Wade and paying him over $700,000 and going on little trysts and drinking Grey Goose and all the different crap? Gosh, there were so many highlights to this Fani Willis case, and it's over. What am I going to talk about now? I'm serious. She was, the best content ever was Fani Willis. Folks, she won with 68.1% of the vote. Now, even if we want to say, okay, maybe they took 5%, that's still over 60. That's how bad Fulton County, Georgia is. But, folks, because we know there's plenty of fraud in Fulton County, Georgia. So I'm going to read you from ABC News. I'm going to go into some details on this because ABC News is obviously one of the worst news outlets, quite frankly. I think they become worse than CNN, okay? The Fulton County, Georgia election interference case against Donald Trump and others. This is what you need to understand. It is gone completely in its entirety. And I want to take you back to the time when Jenna Ellis was up there crying. Do you guys remember Jenna Ellis? If I'd only known then what I know now. Okay, she takes the case up. She argues with Rudy Giuliani in front of Michigan. We all thought she was a hero. And then the first sign that she might get prosecuted for something that wasn't even illegal, she runs to the hills. Do you guys remember this? Okay, nobody has got to feel more foolish today than Jenna Ellis for taking the deal. Okay, here we go. The entire case, though, you need to understand, the entire case is gone. Every single bit of it against everyone. Okay? It's gone. And in my profession, this is a quote from Pete Scandalakis. This is the guy who took over the case from Fani Willis. This is when everybody was still kind of worried. They're like, well, it's not dead, Neil. Scandalakis, he might prosecute these people. And even if he doesn't prosecute Trump because he's the president, what about the rest of the people? Listen, this is what he said. In my professional judgment, the citizens of Georgia are not served by pursuing this case in full for another 5 to 10 years, wrote Pete Scandalakis, the executive director of the Prosecuting Attorneys Council of Georgia, who took over the case after the original prosecutor was disqualified from the case. And I find it absolutely hilarious that ABC News, as fake as they are, can't even mention Fani. They can't even say after Fani failed. Or they just say the original prosecutor was disqualified from the case. Why don't we say when Fani Willis was disqualified from the case for frauding and defrauding Georgians out of their money as she paid her boyfriend over $700,000? Come on. Within minutes of the Scandalakis court filing, the judge overseeing the case granted the request and dismissed the case. And listen to this from the judge, Judge Scott McAfee. This case is hereby dismissed in its entirety. In its entirety. Let me tell you what that means, folks, when a case is dismissed. I've had this happen to me. Do you guys want to hear a little lumberjack logic, a little Neil Johnson story about the law? I mean, I had a little run-in with the law one time. And I went to court. Quite a deal. I know you're thinking to yourself, no way, Neil. No way. Did you ever have a run-in with the law? And were you ever before a judge? And did you ever have to go through this process? No, it's real. So it turns out, back when I was, how old was I at the time? Probably 22 years old. I'm going to guess I was 22, 21, 22. Somewhere right in that realm of reason. Yours truly did not pay a ticket. Yeah, happened. Do you know what they did in those days? Now today you can light people on fire on a train and not get prosecuted. You can defraud Minnesotans out of $7 million, get convicted in a court, and later a judge will just toss it out. But back then, I didn't pay a parking ticket. And folks, I had a warrant put out for my arrest. I had my driver's license suspended. But I kept on driving because I needed to go to work. So anyways, I get stopped. This is where it gets even better. I got stopped on my way to church. I'm not kidding. I'm driving to church, but it gets better. It gets better. Are you guys getting ready for something now? I was with a friend who had overstayed his visa from Uganda. That's right. He was an illegal alien. That story just, I'm telling you, it's going to get better. So here I am. I didn't pay my ticket. I get my driver's license suspended, warrant put out for my arrest. I'm driving to church with an illegal alien from Uganda. His name was Perry. He's awesome. Anyways, he's a great guy. He moved back to Uganda. But he's a wonderful guy. I really enjoyed him. But here's the thing. I went before the judge that morning, and the judge was not, well, I went and talked to the prosecuting attorney for the county. And when I talked to the prosecuting attorney for the county, it turned out he wasn't there. So he had like an intern type gal, still in law school, who was there. And she was kind of cute. I tried to use my charm on her, I'll just admit. I'm like, went up and I'm just, so I've got this ticket, and I kind of explained the thing, and she goes, oh, I understand your situation. Now, you need to understand, before this, I actually talked to a bunch of people in the legal profession about this guy. His name was Martin, the prosecuting attorney for, this is where it gets really crazy, folks. This was in Hennepin County, and the prosecuting attorney was a hard case. Think about now. Now, I suppose Mary Moriarty might be today because I'm white, but she's letting everybody else off, right? I mean, they can commit murders, they can do whatever, and Mary Moriarty won't charge them, okay? But back then, this guy Martin, he was apparently a hard case, and everybody told him Martin doesn't cut deals. Because I was just trying to okay, what can I do? Can I just pay a fine here? Maybe get a stay of adjudication where I don't have a similar offense in the next 6 months and have this all go away. I didn't want, because here's what happens. With your insurance, if you get a driving after suspension, okay, even though it's not unsafe driving, they count it against your insurance like a DUI. That's right, it's 3 points. Your insurance, I'm a single male under 25. I am going through the roof, okay, my premiums. So I just was trying to get rid of this. I was told Martin doesn't deal. I meet this gal, and I think it's my lucky day. Look at this, he's got a fill-in. It's like a substitute teacher, okay? So she tells me, she goes, yeah, you know what? She says, well, Martin's not here this morning. I'm thinking, I know Martin's not here. That's why I'm talking to you. Aren't you a wonderful gal? Anyways, but she goes, so you're going to have to come back next week and talk to Martin. I was deflated. So I had to come back next week and talk to Martin. But here's what happened. And this is actually a really incredible story at this point, because I'm going to share what happened in the case before me. There was a guy so embittered with life that he had slashed his 12-year-old daughter in the stomach with a butter knife. Okay, she was scarred. Okay, so you think a butter knife has that serrated edge. He had slashed his daughter in the stomach with a serrated butter knife. This was the case before me. I'm watching this. Usually, like if you go to these traffic court, it's just all a bunch of nothing burgers, right? And but this guy had actually, it turns out his wife had died. He had become an alcoholic, embittered with life, and had some other incidents with his daughter before this. And so the attorney gets up and tries to plead the case like he's not such a bad guy, and his wife and whatever. Okay. Yeah, there are serrations on a butter knife, sir. There is. There's those little ones. That's what he used. He used a little butter knife, and they got those little serrations on them. You guys know what I'm talking about, right? Somebody's telling me there's no serrations on a butter knife. You guys understand what I'm talking about here? Can't believe people are arguing with me about this. You know how on a butter knife, it's got, it's just got those little serrations. Please, in the chat, comment. Do you understand what I'm talking about here? This is what he used, was this butter knife. And a butter knife just isn't completely dull. It has those little serrations. Thank you, Michelle. Okay, so that's what he did. He slashed his daughter with a butter knife, and she was scarred. It's really a sad story. I mean, you think about this dad who is so embittered with life. He lost his wife. He's become a drunk. And, she was an angry youth too. It was just, I'm sure it was just really ugly. Well, the judge took too long in the case, and then he just basically said, you know what? No, we're done hearing it. You've come before this court, tried to claim that before. We're done with you. You're going to get X, Y, and Z. And he wasn't able to see his daughter, and he got some time and all this different stuff. Okay. But then he just walks out of court. He's not willing to finish the rest of the cases. He decided he was going to recess. Martin was pissed. Martin was like next level pissed off. Okay. I'm serious. I mean, like, I'm watching this all in the courtroom drama playing out, and Martin just flips his lid. And then he turns around and he looks at all of us waiting, and he goes, and he's so mad, and he goes, all right, I'm going to start handing out deals this morning. Okay? So when your name is called, you come up here, we'll see what kind of deal we can cut. And this is Martin, the guy who never cuts deals. And I happen to be on there on the morning where he's cutting deals. This is amazing. Okay? So I go up. Well, first off, there's a couple others before me. Like one, there's a really bad interchange. At that time, they fixed it now, but it was called the Crosstown Commons. And there was this double line. And she had crossed over the double line and whatever. And so he said, okay, so you crossed the double line, we'll reduce your sentence to this, and then do this, and then you pay this, and away you go. Then the next person comes up and he does some reduced thing, and then he comes up and he goes, all right, so I've got Neil Johnson here. I said, yes, that's me, sir. And he goes, well, what do you have to say for yourself? And I said, well, obviously, you see the thing there. They have me for driving after suspension. There's nothing to really contest here. I said, the only thing I can tell you is I came in and saw your gal last week, and he mentioned her name. I said, yeah, that's her. And I said, she just said to take care of this. That's the one thing I forgot in the story. She told me, go take care of this, get your license reinstated, come back and see Martin next week. And I said, so she told me to take care of the ticket, get my license reinstated, and come back and see you and see what you would do. And he goes, and did you do this? And I said, yeah. And he goes, do you have some paperwork for that? I said, yeah, it's right here. And then he goes, okay. He looks at it. Well, everything seems to be in order here. Mr. Johnson, it appears you are a man of your word. So in the interest of justice, this case is dismissed. Here's what happens when a case is dismissed. Just like this one in Georgia. It's off the record completely. Completely. So when the case is dismissed, when McAfee says that, there is no record of it even having taken place except for in the media. Okay? It was like, for me, you need to understand, I mean, I'm watching this guy embittered with life, slashing his daughter with a butter knife. And I believe in the Lord, right? And so I'm watching this and I'm praying for that family. And then my case gets dismissed. And I saw folks firsthand, clearly in the light of day, there in that courtroom, the abject failure of holding on to your sin and becoming embittered. And then what God can do through his simple act of mercy, wipe the slate clean. See, because the cross wasn't about grace, it was about mercy. I mean, it is about grace, but his rising was really about grace, because the rising is what empowers you. The mercy was him taking your place. Does that make sense? So whose case was dismissed? The FANI Willis case against all of them. Every co-conspirator. Back to the article. You got my little side story there. I hope you enjoyed it. Please smash that like if you would. Do chat in with where you're from. Also, if you're new, please subscribe and check out my sponsor, My Pillow. My mods will post the link, but mypillow.com/lumberjack or the 800 number at 1-800-568-2865. Phenomenal deals. I cannot wait. I should be getting my order tomorrow. I got the Giza cotton blanket, the Giza duvet to cover my down comforter that I got from MyPillow, and another set of Giza sheets. I'm telling you what, Giza cotton will change your life. You'll never go back. I'm not even kidding you. You will never go back. Go over there right now. They got early Black Friday specials. Get yourself some Giza blankets. I didn't even know they had such things. I'm so excited. The towels are amazing too. Anyways, everybody can chat in the comments and tell you how great this stuff is. But Trump and 18 others pleaded not guilty in August of 2023 to all charges in a sweeping racketeering indictment for alleged efforts to overturn the results of the 2020 presidential election in the state of Georgia. The charges, which were brought by Fulton County District Attorney FANI Willis following Trump's January 2nd, 2021 phone call, in which, listen to this, folks, they still have this news wrong. They're still repeating fake news. Phone call in which he asked Georgia Secretary of State Brad Raffensperger to find the votes needed to win the state, alleged that the defendants solicited state leaders throughout the country, harassed and misled a Georgia election worker, and pushed phony claims that the election was stolen, all in an effort for Trump to remain in power despite his election loss, according to ABC News, okay? Now, I'm not going to go into all of it, but you guys know what he was asking Brad Raffensperger to do there because of the fraudulent vote counts was to find the actual real votes. He wasn't telling him to make up votes, all right? Defendants Sidney Powell, Jenna, now what I knew then, or then what I knew now, or Jenna Ellis, Kenneth Chesborough, and Scott Hall took plea deals, listen to this, in exchange for agreeing to testify against other defendants. Another lie of the mainstream media. Sidney Powell wrote out her one-sentence apology. She did not, bring evidence and testify against the other defendants. Did you guys all know that? Sidney Powell did not do that. I don't believe Chesborough did that, or did Scott Hall. Jenna Ellis is the only one we got to see break down on the stand, crying in front of God and everyone, saying that, if I'd only known then what I know now. Okay, come on, Jenna. And, here's the thing. People say, Neil, you should make fun of Jenna and everything. The fact of the matter is if she wants to play in the big league, she's going to have to understand how they're playing. She eventually, folks, I don't know if you know this, she's from Colorado. They disbarred her. They took away her law license for 2 years, I think. Wasn't that what happened? Correct me if I'm wrong on this story. Is that what happened? Those of you in my chat who know, I'm pretty sure it was 2 years. Anyways, okay. Willis was subsequently disqualified from the case. Now, this is the thing. The real story here. So they run on about how Donald Trump was bad, and they give this one little byline at the end. Willis was subsequently disqualified from the case following accusations of impropriety regarding her relationship with a fellow prosecutor, leaving a council of Georgia attorneys to assign an independent prosecutor to take over the case and determine its fate. So that's all they give to FANI Willis. Up above, they wouldn't even mention her name. Skandalakis took over the case himself earlier this month after he said he was unable to find someone else to accept the job. Nobody else would accept the job because it was a loser case. So, she not only was FANI Willis disqualified last year, folks, her entire office was disqualified from prosecuting Trump in that lawfare RICO case. And now the case has all been dismissed, even after it was picked up by a new prosecutor, which everybody was worried about. And I told you not to worry about it. I told you this is going nowhere. Folks, help me out. Help me out. Did I say this back when this broke? Whatever it was, a couple weeks ago, that this guy, when Skandalakis took over the case, I told you this was going nowhere. Did I not say this? And everybody's like, no, Neil, but what about the others? He could be, No, the entirety of the case. Gone. Okay? Nobody wants to touch this. Are you kidding me? It's bogus. And then, so after they were disqualified, then we went through appeal. The appeals court did not throw out the charges, but FANI in her office had no authority to proceed. You had to remember this whole process of events. And then remember Nathan Wade on the stand. This is the great memes. I shared some of them, but you guys remember this one? Did you ever visit Miss Willis at the cabin? Ever? Let's just wait, because that was the attorney asking the question. Then Willis is sitting there, or I mean, what's his name? Nathan Wade's sitting there. Ever? No. I probably shortened it, folks. It was probably longer than that. I mean, but it's just, this was the case. The Georgia Appeals Court disqualified Fani Willis because of the appearance of impropriety. It wasn't only an appearance of impropriety. It was complete impropriety, folks. Honestly. Oh, you know, and then they're talking about the wine, and she's like, well, I really prefer Grey Goose. God. In all my life, I'd never seen a more ridiculous case in court. So, you know, Fani had this, and then remember afterwards, because Fani has this illicit affair with Wade, and then she said she broke it off. So we were doing videos about the fact that she dumped Nathan, right? She never dumped Nathan because remember then when her daughter got stopped by the cops and she's like, I'm the daughter of Fani Willis. And Fani Willis and Nathan Wade showed up together to get the daughter, to hopefully get the daughter out of being arrested. Do you guys remember this? Yeah, so we thought, oh, wait, she's dumped him, you know, but she hadn't. And then she's shown up and it was just nonstop. Oh, this lady is like, oh my gosh, she's so ghetto. Last month, Fulton County Superior Court judge gave prosecuting attorneys 14 days. So they were given 14 days to assign that new prosecutor. Then they got Scandalakis because nobody else. It was literally just hours before the deadline. Okay. Here's another quote for you, folks. The criminal conduct alleged in Atlanta Judicial Circuit's prosecution was conceived in Washington, D.C., not the state of Georgia. The federal government is the appropriate venue for this prosecution, not the state of Georgia. Indeed, if Special Counsel Jack Smith, with all the resources of the federal government at his disposal, after reviewing the evidence in this case and considering the U.S. Supreme Court's decision in Trump v. United States, along with the years of litigation such a case would inevitably entail, concluded that prosecution would be fruitless, then I too find that despite the available evidence, pursuing the prosecution of all those involved in the state of Georgia versus Donald Trump et al., on essentially federal grounds would be equally unproductive. The prosecutor wrote in a 22-page memo. Just remember, I mean, they had the entire backing of the Biden regime, everybody. This is Jack Smith, and he didn't even see this case would be fruitless. But Fani Willis, the ghetto girl, so desperate to make a name for herself, decided she would take it up and prosecute not only Trump, but all the others. And I am still wondering, I'm going to reach out to Harrison Floyd because Harrison Floyd was eager to go to trial. Do you guys all know who Harrison Floyd is? Because he said he had the goods and he actually had the recording. So this was, he had the police body cam recording, and that was of, what's her name? Her and her daughter who were caught on camera when everybody was kicked out of the room. What was that lady's name down in Georgia? Help me out here. Joe Biden ended up giving her the Presidential Medal of Freedom. Ruby, I'm getting her confused. Somebody, come on, help me out here. Was it Ruby Freeman? No. Yeah, Michelle, that's right. He was the only black defendant. And yeah, it was Ruby Freeman. Yeah, Ruby Freeman and something Wanda Shea Moss or something. Anyways, Wanda Shea Moss, LaWanda, Kawanda Shea Moss, something like that. Anyways, those two. Harrison Floyd wanted to go to court because he wanted to bring his evidence into the court, which he had. And I watched the body cam video. Did you guys ever watch that? Where she's like talking around it. She never fully admits to it, but then it was this whole thing. It was the strangest body cam video. Like, well, we need some protection or something to that effect. I'm trying to remember all the exact words of it, but it's just, it's over. It's over. I mean, this is the one the Democrats all, do you remember? Oh, in fact, oh gosh, another thing I forgot. Do you guys remember Mark Elias? Mark Elias, democracy docket guy, the guy who wants to rig every election in every country in favor of one worlders and deep staters and everything. Do you guys remember this? Mark Elias? You guys all know who Mark Elias is. Democracy docket. Yeah, and then they were just like, "Oh, we just win every case," and no, the judges threw it out based on that whole thing. I can't even. Donald Trump actually won a number of cases too, but that's all beside the point. But Mark Elias, when he said that this was the best chance they had at prosecuting Donald Trump was this case, the Georgia case. He was on an interview, and then the other guy, who's that other nasty attorney dude who worked against Trump at every turn? What is his name? I can't remember, but everybody was pinning their hopes on this case, the one that FANI so epically lost. And then when it came out that she had the impropriety with Nathan Wade, do you remember how the media turned on her? And they were so upset. Norm Eisen, that's it. Thank you. Norm Eisen, that's the one. Yeah, they're all like, oh yeah, Fani Willis going to take him down. And then when the improprieties came out and the whole case was blowing up, oh my gosh, and they all turned on her on TV. I can't believe she would do this when she's got the most important case of all time. We got to get Donald Trump, and now she's doing this. But you know, she is a black woman, so they're treating her different. That's right, she's a strong, independent black woman. Then you remember when she went on the church tour? Oh my gosh, folks, there was so much content on Fani Willis, and I couldn't stop producing it. I could not. I was just flat addicted to that case. It was Fani Willis, Tish James, but I was equally hard on bad Republicans, which would have been Nikki Haley and Ronna Romney McDaniel. Do you guys remember that? I went through a phase where those four gals were all I made videos about, because I never wanted to see Ronna Romney McDaniel running the RNC, especially after all the fraud. Then Nikki Haley, who was just been a terrible, terrible president, was running around with Chris Sununu, the guy who throws people, has state troopers haul him out of meetings because they disagree with him. Sununu is he's up in New Hampshire, terrible governor, quote unquote Republican. And then it was those two, because they just kept making idiots out of themselves. And now, of course, I know that we've got the whole case with Tish James having been dropped, and also James Comey. But I want you to understand something. That's going to get appealed, and they will assign a new prosecutor. Don't think Comey's out of the woods. Folks, Comey is guilty. I don't know. Actually, we got 652 likes on there. Somebody said only 184 likes. There's 652. I mean, more people can smash the like. That would help. But, I mean, it's certainly good news. But Comey is completely guilty, and people are running around acting like he's not here. I want to show you guys something really funny. Okay, don't. This is actually funny. Okay, somebody's gonna be like, Neil, that's not funny. Okay, wait. Okay. This is a guy. I'm gonna turn the audio off, but he's handing out. Where was this? This is I don't know if this is Philly. Here, check this out. I know. It'll be backwards. I don't care.
Oh, yeah. There you go. Need some protection out here. You know
okay, so he's handing out machetes to homeless people. Yeah, I need some protection out here. Oh, can I get one? Can I get one? Who does this? Who does this? Hands out machetes to homeless people. And he says, keeping the homeless in the streets safe. I mean... This is, look, it's a drug-addled neighborhood, and he's handing out machetes to everybody. Folks, I don't know what this guy's deal is, if he just likes making content to get clicks or what, but nonetheless, he is doing it here in this video. I mean, I just don't, like, I wonder what happened. I wonder if any of those were used in nefarious activities. Anyways, folks, it's just great that in this day when we're not seeing any justice, we finally see this case dismissed in court, fully, completely done, gone. Fani Willis, her witch hunt has ended. It's over. I mean, like, this is completely over. There is nowhere else they're going with it. Again, please go check out my sponsor, MyPillow. MyPillow.com/lumberjack for big savings on the best sleep products available. And I'm telling you, folks, you get those Giza sheets, you will never go back. I'm serious. There's a money-back guarantee on them. Yeah, just go get yourself some and try them. You will never go back. I never knew sheets could be that good. Giza sheets, they're getting them back in stock right now. MyPillow.com/lumberjack. Early Black Friday sale going on right now. I mean, up to 50. Well, shoot, it's like the duvets. I mean, they're way marked down. I've got one of the down comforters for my pillows. So thank you for all the great comments. I love y'all. You're the best audience on YouTube. Okay. Thank you for sticking with me through the years. Peace out.